I Love Designer fashion event. I am so excited to go inside. ilovedesigner.com is a new luxury online boutique where it sources online designers from Eastern and Western countries. They meet and there's unique pieces to be found on there. I'm also getting an interview with the founder of the website. I'm so excited and I cannot wait to see the individual pieces that they have inside. You're the founder of the website?
Yes.
And can you just tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. The philosophy in terms of creating I Love Designer is, the vision is to bring the very best of Eastern and Western luxury design accessories onto one platform. And in selecting those designers, we've been very, very carefully and thought about rigorously in terms of who we really wanted to carry and why we actually wanted to bring those designers on board. And more importantly, through the critical thinking process, is to sort of really think through in terms of what our customers would like to see on one hand.
Sure.
On the second hand is to actually think about what we could bring in to introduce new into the market where potential customers may not have actually seen before, have never experienced that sort of style, and it's to sort of really bring more inspiration to our existing collection or existing styles that coexist in today's market.
Do you want to just talk about the journey that you've been on? Because I can imagine that you've probably travelled a lot to try and to source these products.
Yeah. Yes, I've definitely I've done my fair share of travels in the last 12 months, even before we actually obviously formed the business and went live with it. And I think, and I've lived in different parts of the world myself, so I think I've got a very international background.
Yeah.
And I've lived in Asia, in Australasia, and I've spent a lot of time in the States, and obviously this is home for me now. The journey I think personally I've been through is, throughout my travels I've always been really, really excited with different pieces, unique pieces. I think even on an individual level I always wanted to try and wear something which is different. And going through that process and building the business and selecting these designers, I think it's about really thinking through the credible designers who we want to actually work with, which we think would be very successful with us. But more importantly, it's also really identifying the unique talent that some of these designers have, but potentially they have never really had a platform for them to be exposed or a platform for them to really experiment and introduce their own brand or identity to their customers in a more wider scale.
I can imagine when you've gone to all of these amazing countries and seen this amazing talent, what is the criteria that makes you, or what is the thing that suddenly makes you think, wow, I've got to take this on, or you have that exquisite, intelligence to think suddenly, wow, this could really take off?
I think a lot of work goes into researching who the designer is, what is their brand identity, and what have they actually developed themselves individually and as a business. And for me, I think that's a really, really critical point, because at the end of the day, we will be servicing our customers. Sometimes I admit it's gut instincts, I just kind of know that this is really going to work, or I think it's, the market's ready to accept this. And other times it's about really wanting to work with some designers for, supporting social economic reasons. So for example, we very recently started working with SORT, who is actually a charitable organization that's actually based in Cambodia. And I've decided to actually bring them on board because I think they've got such a wonderful story in terms of how they make their jewelry, and the pieces are all actually made from metal pieces that are actually found from the landmines in those days. So it's interesting to see how creative that these designers have actually utilized raw materials and made a really beautiful story, and along with that we're actually supporting their community, we're supporting their artisans and so forth. So I think it's a combination of reasons in terms of why we actually work with some designers. But it's an interesting journey. It's very early days for us, and I'm sure along the way we will be adding more designers and we'll be working with more different individuals with different aspirations and different ambitions as well.
It's really amazing how you've brought this community of talent together, and showcasing that, which they didn't have the opportunity before as such. Now, just for viewers, because I know that a lot of people are going to absolutely love the designers that you're working with, as I do. I've just gone down and looked, and there's some fantastic pieces, really original, really different, that I haven't seen before. And how is it going to work now? So your website is officially live now?
Yes, it's live. We went live on the 7th of February this year.
Oh, okay, so you've been going for a couple of months now.
Yes.
And what does the future hold for I Love Design now?
Exciting things. I think in a very short period of time, we've got approximately 21 or 22 designers, which I think spent 5 or 6 months. We have today introduced fine jewellery, which is obviously from Amrapali Jewels. We are going to continue to add that selection of fine jewellery, and today we've also launched a capsule collection which was done by 2 siblings based in India called App House, and it's a capsule collection for I Love Designer. There will be more capsule collections that will come through, definitely on the website. And today itself we've also launched an in-house brand name called Achilles, where a lot of people, the story behind Achilles is because we've had so many statement pieces, but at the same time we actually really wanted to offer something that was more variable and commercial and sort of toned down version of jewelry. So that's how I would say that's how really Achilles was really born, and I think we will continue to add into that collection as well.
Collections that I spotted downstairs, unbelievable pieces, really unique. And I noticed that was all around the punk theme. Now, punk is a big trend right now. And I've really related that to a lot of celebrities. I could see people like Jessie J or Rita Ora, or those celebrities that slightly push the boundaries and they're not afraid to take risks, but they do it in such a great way. And I think that your pieces really transcend to that celebrity culture, but yet it's the fine jewellery as well. And I think you've really tapped into some key areas within the industry in that sense as well.
We work with App House in Paris, and specifically I think for this particular season and looking at the trends and what's really going to sort of be a huge place in autumn winter, we sat down and sort of talked through in terms of some ideas and worked out that we really wanted to do something in the punk space, which I think it's, in the good old days, people tend to associate punk with this whole, dark, gothic, grungy look. But, we sat down and said that's not what we really want to do, and that's not what, who we are as designers and retailers. And I think very cleverly, I think we've come up with this glamour punk idea, and the whole, the essence and the story behind it is to actually say to everybody, you can actually wear punk. And this is the glamour side, and it's be brave, you can be creative, and sometimes to stand out, all you really need is just one statement piece, and this punk collection will give you that. I've certainly seen, I think, in this side of the world that women are being more braver, I think, in their accessory selection, which I think is fantastic.
It's all about self-expression. It's actually fun, fashion is fun, and you can play around with it. Trends are there to play around with and experiment with your own take on what suits you and your body shapes. And from a stylist perspective, I'm here just to give some guidance on what works for you. But certainly it's about self-expression, and I definitely think that the pieces do that.
Fantastic. What I really love about this industry, there's no right or wrong.
No,
it's brilliant.
No, there isn't.
It's so brilliant. It's very different to the world that I come from, and I think that's what fashion is. It's all about being yourself and being different and experimenting.
Well, thank you ever so much, and the biggest of luck with I Love Designer. I think it's going to do fantastic.
Thank you very much for interviewing me and taking me through. Thank you very much.
I've had such a lovely time at the ilovedesigner.com event. I've even walked away with an amazing goodie bag, and I got to speak to the founders of the website, and I've got to say I am super excited about what the future holds for them.